This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today we're going to pull apart what is the reward of winning. Now, what do I mean by winning? It could mean a whole range of things. Well, I'm referring to winning in this of you have a problem and you figure it out and then you win. You have a solution, right? So really it comes down to like, what is your reward for finding a solution to a problem? And the universal reward that you will always get, no matter what, it's not a dollar figure, it's not more love, not acceptance into the cool group. What it is more problems. No matter what you do, whenever you figure out a solution to something, you get gifted with more problems. Now, there's a very deliberate reason why I use the word gift here, is because more often than not, the problems that we may find ourselves complaining about, albeit they might be frustrating, sure, I'll give you that. I get frustrated with many of issues that I come up against as well. But here's mention to the problems that we have are problems that other people wish for, or even the problems that we once wished for, right? It's like, oh, I've got to pay so much tax. It's like, yeah, because the money you once wished you wanted to earn. It's like, oh, I've got problems in my relationship. It's like, yeah, you wished you were in a relationship at some stage and now you're here with someone that you actually care about. Focus on that, right? And so the biggest thing about all of this is allowing ourselves to understand that if we've got problems, then we're living. And problems are actually moving through them. When we move through problems and we find solutions to them, however long they take, we grow, we mature, we level up. Without problems, we do not grow. Problems are like universe's version of weights, effectively. It's like when you do them, when you get out, when you go through the problems, you get stronger mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. You come out the other end, right? It's like a washing machine, so to speak. You get put in, you're dirty, you come out, you're nice and clean, hang out to dry, that's your recovery, get worn again, off you go. You don't just get worn once. And this is what I find so interesting, is that often we neglect to realize that when we ask the universe, it's like, this is what my goal is, and we put it out there, right? And sometimes we don't get mistaken the mishaps. Maybe we mistake the missed failure, whatever it is that you want to call, we mistake that as it's a bad thing, rather than what is this teaching? What is the lesson in this? What can I learn from this? Like, you haven't failed, you just missed, right? And when we're able to understand that the universe doesn't give us what we want, it gives us the problems we need to solve to become the person who we're able to obtain and keep the thing that we want, right? Because mostly just about anything worth doing in life is going to take a long time, and it's in depth, and there's multifaceted, and there's so many factors that go into it. Like, often we catch us and it's like, why isn't it this easy? Or why does it have to be this hard? And it's like, that's not the right question. The right question is, who do I thank for this opportunity, right? What do I need in me to be able to move through this? What could I potentially grow into by moving through this? What is this teaching me? What is this pointing at? What is this sadness pointing at? What is this anxiety telling me about me, right? What is this emotion inside of me telling me about the person that I'm worried about? Like, every single thing is just this opportunity for your own personal insight, and nothing is outside of you. And this is the whole idea, is that I know I'm simplifying it here, but really it's like, there's 4 things in your power, and that's feelings, thoughts, speech, and behavior. And technically, speech and behavior are kind of the same thing. But if you look at those 4 things, it's like, do your problems lie outside of those things? Because if your problems lie outside of those things, then it's not the thing that you think is the problem, it's your thinking about the thing. Let me just rephrase that again. If the problem is outside of your thinking, speech, behavior, or actions, your power, your circle of power, if the problem lays outside of that's getting to you, then it's not the problem that is the issue, it's your thinking about the problem. Okay? And that's crucial, because what we then do is we go back into our circle of power, which is thinking, the first thing that I mentioned. It's like, well, in that case, how can I think about this differently? It's like, well, is this problem an opportunity for growth? More often than not, yes, it is. And so it's like, right, what is the one thing I can do right now that allows me to be able to move forward towards a better future? It's like, that's a fucking great question. What could that possibly be for you for right now? It's like, I fucking hate my job, right? I'm sick of my boss. I'm sick of just shutting up and letting them run their mouth and not saying anything. It's like, okay, what's the problem? Because we understand that every single problem is just a question, right? Every single problem is just a question. The problem is like my boss running their mouth and I can't do anything about it. The question is, okay, if there was one thing that I could do, what could that thing be? Answer could be, well, you probably got a whole range of answers just pop up in your mind just then. It's like, well, you write down a list of things and then be able to maybe hand it to his boss. Maybe that's not the right idea for you, because right now you've got a mortgage and a shaky relationship, so you don't want to shake more things up at work. It's like, then maybe the boss isn't the problem. Maybe something at home's the problem then, right? But the boss becomes the projection of it. There's so many facets to this that it's like, when have you given yourself time to sit down and breathe, to be able to look at this objectively and ask the right questions so that you can move through and you can grow and come out the other side alive? Because the reality is that if you don't look after yourself, then the people that you look after learn from you. They learn by your actions. If you're a trainer and you always put your clients before you, it's like, that sounds real noble, but problem is that that doesn't last. I've seen it. 14 years in the industry. I've fucking seen it, right? It's something you got to put your own health, because you have to be the person that they look up to, sure, but you also have to go, look guys, I'm not putting up with this particular behavior. Or maybe it's, I need to sleep in that morning, I need to catch up on sleep because otherwise I'm going to crash. It's like, you don't have to hustle, like in the sense that, like, to burn out. Because when you look after yourself, whether you're a personal trainer, whether you're a mother, whether you're a young uni student or an old uni student, or you're a nurse or anything like that, you do not have to burn out in order to be able to do the right thing by people, because you're a people. You got to do the right thing by you first. And that's understanding that these problems that you have are questions, and when you can, like I said in my podcast just the other day, start to ask better questions, you get better answers, and those better answers unlock doors to be able to ask better questions. Because like I said at the start of this podcast, the real reward winning is more problems, because that's how we grow. It's like the reward for getting stronger in the gym is heavier weights. It's like, yeah, you got stronger. Pick up the fucking heavier thing, mate. Right? It's the same thing. It's the same analogy. The reward for getting more intelligent with the things that you enjoy is that you read more things in depth, things that you may not have understood 4 years ago. With the gym, if you train for 4 years consistently, the weights that you lift in 4 years are probably going to be heavier than the weights that you begin with, but you have to get there incrementally. And so the same thing with business, the same thing with your relationship, the same thing, the conversations you have after 4, 5, 10, 20 years are different to the ones you have at the beginning, but the ones that you have at the beginning are important because they lead to those ones. Now, this is the other thing, is that you need to have these conversations with yourself. So when you find and you get frustrated about something happening out there, breathe. Yeah, fucking, I already know, Dave, thanks, but it's free. You can breathe. It's fucking free. Breathe, and then look at the questions you're asking yourself. Be grateful for the problem because you want to win this problem, and figure out the solution, and then be grateful for the next problem. Because when you look back over time, you realize that it was your ability to solve these problems that got you to the place where you are right now, and you keep that resilience moving forward, so that you can keep moving forward, be a good role model for those that are following you. Team, that's it. I'm done. By the time this goes out, I think I have like 6 hours before my book campaign is done. Thank you very much for everyone that has purchased a book. It means the world to me. If you get this before 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, which is the 17th of July, and you still want to buy a book, you just remember the details of this and you'll see the link sale. But yes, I just want to thank everyone for the support. It's been absolutely amazing. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the messages and the emails. It's been yeah, great. I got nothing else to say. That's kind of it. But as always, if you find this podcast interesting and you know someone else that would find this podcast interesting, it would mean the world to me if you would pass it on to them. Until tomorrow, as always, peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick. Slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
happiness to be everything at once. be unbridled and unreal.